Okay, so this is my second video today. And this one's about George Floyd. Or not really about George Floyd, but the George Floyd case. And an issue that I've always had with what happened to him. And I have not seen anybody bring this up. And so I was like, I wanted to do some videos all day today about the justice system. And so I'm going to talk about this. So basically what I really wanted to say was, obviously, if you click on this, you know what happened with George Floyd. He was killed by the police, basically because that one police officer put his knee in his neck, and it caused him to pass out. But the problem all of us had was that it should have never happened. And the reason it should have never happened was because the lead officer was doing too much. And let me take that back and explain what I mean. Okay, so I was in the military, and one thing that always caught my attention when I was in the military, I would always ask when we would go to our vehicles, like get inside our vehicles, you would have the driver as lower enlisted, like a private, and then riding shotgun, we call it TC, that would be somebody of a higher rank. And I would always ask, why is the low-ranking person behind the wheel? That didn't make any sense to me, you know. Now it does. At the time, it didn't. I would always ask, man, wouldn't you want the more experienced person behind the wheel? Like, wouldn't you want the sergeant who's been in for a while behind the wheel, or the high-ranking officer? And the reason it's not set up that way is because you have the lower enlisted behind the wheel because he or she is following orders from the higher enlisted. It can't go both the other way around. The higher enlisted the lower enlisted doesn't bark orders. You know, they take orders. The higher enlisted, they give orders. So yeah, you got like a private behind the wheel, but they're listening to you. If you tell them, hey, make a right, speed up, slow down, whatever, you're barking orders at a lower enlisted, and they're gonna follow what you say, you know. Because again, it can never work the other way. Let's say you have a higher enlisted behind the wheel and somebody lower enlisted. They're not gonna tell you anything. They're gonna be afraid to bark out orders because again, you have the option of telling them, I'm not listening to you. I'm higher enlisted. I'll do what I want, you know. So that's why it's up in that way. There was a book by Malcolm Gladwell that covered pretty much the same topic, but it was about Korean pilots. I think it was either in the 80s or the 90s, I forget what era, but they had a bunch of aircrafts crash, and they couldn't figure out why are these commercial planes crashing. And when we have the most experienced pilots behind the wheel, and they looked at the black box and the records and everything, and basically what I just said, that they had the more experienced pilot behind the wheel and someone who's like the co-pilot, but like second in command, but like lower. They would see something wrong and couldn't do anything about it. There was a situation where there was icing on the wings, and one of the lower pilots was trying to tell the captain that, hey, we got icing, and he kept letting him know, but the pilot kept ignoring him. He's like, oh, whatever, man, it's nothing, you know. And eventually they crashed, or that the weather was getting bad, or it looks pretty rough. And again, it got ignored. And it just goes to show you that the person who is in a better position shouldn't be the one doing the work, because they're not going to listen to anybody. So why am I talking about all this and in relation to the George Floyd case? The reason I bring this up is because you had all these officers, right? And you have the lead officer being the highest ranking, putting his hands on George, and putting him down and being the lead officers to arrest and put him on the ground, put his knee on his neck. His job really should have been, he should have been in the background watching the rookies, new guys. They should have been arresting George, and he should be in the background seeing, making sure that they do everything right. And if they're doing something wrong, he's gonna let them know. The rookies, they saw what was going on. There was that one Asian cop. He saw that the situation, that it was messed up, because people kept telling him, "Look, man, he ain't breathing. Look." And he's just cowardly. He's like, yeah, doing crowd control. Yeah, just you can't do anything about it. Why? Because that's Derek Chauvin or whatever his name is. He's higher ranking. You can't tell a superior, "Hey, man, he's up. Get your knee off his neck, bro." You can't do that. He's just there following orders. That's why I always felt wrong that he got convicted, because I think Chauvin should have definitely got convicted, but I think it should have been just him, honestly, because the other cops, they're lower in rank. They have no authority to tell his superior what to do. They're just basically waiting for orders. It should have been set up, like I said, the lower officer should be doing all the work, and the superior doing it's in the name, to be a supervisor, should be supervising, making sure everything's being done by the book. And if it's not, put his 2 cents in. Hey, get off his freaking neck. Dudes can't breathe. Let him know, and he's gonna do what you tell him to do, because you're his boss. Doesn't work the other way around. So nobody has brought that up. Like, I've looked for videos about this, and it really hasn't been discussed. So I always thought, now that I'm making YouTube videos, I'm gonna share my thoughts on that. So that's why I always thought that Asian cop shouldn't have been found guilty. He was found guilty. Actually, like 3 of them were found guilty. I always thought Chauvin, it should have been, it was his rodeo. He was running the show. He should take it, the whole blunt of the case. And it was his knee on George, Yeah, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? You agree, disagree? You ever experienced something like this? Like, in my job, right, that the one where I quit recently, same thing. I would see things that weren't were dangerous, or weren't the job wasn't being done right. But I can't tell my boss anything. He's first of all, he's hard-headed. He ain't gonna listen to me. That was part of the problem. It was his way or the highway all the time, even if it was 100% wrong, And most of the time, I was just like, I just kept quiet. I would wait for something to break or something bad to happen, and I wouldn't say a damn thing, because I was like, ain't no point of me saying anything. The dude ain't gonna listen, so I'm just gonna let him mess up. And even when he did mess up, he would blame everybody else. So no matter what, I was just gonna get screwed. So whatever. That's why I'm glad I quit that job. But yeah, so on this case, any thoughts on this? Do you agree that the higher ranking people shouldn't be doing any of this, and shouldn't that be like new policy around law enforcement, to try to enforce that? There was another video not too long ago of a female cop removing one of her superiors when he was choking somebody, and he like pushed her away and stuff, and then he ended up getting fired. But that took courage again, because she was again lower ranking, and that really does play a mind game when you're lower ranking. You're just rank really does have a lot to say in law enforcement. They really push that to stay in your lane. I don't know too much about law enforcement. I know in the military it's big. It's the staying in your lane. It's constantly drilled on you, and if you don't stay in your lane, you'll find out real quick what happens. You'll lose rank, you lose pay, you'll do extra duty. They don't really play around. They don't even let you socialize with people on different ranks. They to make sure that inferior, superior, complex, authority, whatever, it's in play. Even by how you address everybody by name or off duty, you don't even talk to each other. You're not supposed to even socialize at all. And it's done that way to respect the authority. That way, when they tell you to do something, you really you don't question it. You do it. I know that that's an extreme case. How the military does it. Police officers probably not so, maybe not to that extreme level, but still, people still respect their superior officers. They're gonna do what they say. So yeah, maybe there should be new policy. Make the rookies do all the work while the sergeants or lieutenants or whatever are just supervising. Okay, off to the next video.